Hey, um, I had mentioned several weeks back I wanted to talk a bit about fad diets. I'm going to try to kind of stay on track with just the diets themselves, and um, in some further videos, I'll go into some of the aspects about the witch hunting of red meat in in this country and things like that, and some of the things pushed, like soy, for example. Bill Gates right now is funding a huge push for soy because the guy owns millions of acres of soy farmland. You know, has nothing to do with his give a shit about us. The guy's not a vegan, but he's pushing that huge group of people, which is there's a lot of money there. It's almost forming like almost a religion. Um, but fad diets, for example, I don't think it's really markedly intelligent to just follow a diet 100% because somebody else says so. There's a lot of research to be done, and there's a lot of different aspects because some things are really nutritious, but they might have, oxidative properties or things like that, or certain things that at a point in somebody's life, and doctors don't know this stuff, it's sad, but at a certain point in their life, if they're battling something in particular or they're predisposed to something, some stuff that's actually really really nutritionally dense food might have one thing that's not good for that person. So um, those are those are always aspects that we need to look into. But to break it down generically, it's odd that a lot of this stuff it gets labeled. Uh, I'll date myself a little bit here because there's some stuff going on like the carnivore diet. Um, Keto's always one that you get sick of hearing about. The keto diet. There's things like South Beach or Mediterranean, and um, the biggest ones get pushed for like weight loss. I don't know if anybody remembers the HCG diet, but that was completely fucking retarded. They had people living on 500 calories a day, so yeah, you're gonna lose weight. You're starving. And then selling these magic HCG drops that really didn't do anything. Um, and then a lot of people would tell like, oh, I lost all this weight on this HCG diet, and this is basically a bottle of water that HCG is not. Um, it it it's inactive if it's in something like that suspended on a store shelf. It's completely inactive. It's a waste. It's a complete waste of money. But they would eat 500 calories a day and lose all this weight and think it was magical. It's a placebo effect. Keto, for example, can have some benefits, especially in people that are, say, from eating too many processed carbohydrates or just like massive amounts of sugars uncontrollably and have destroyed their insulin sensitivity. Keto can actually help. Now, because your brain can't uptake the carbs even, so they'll get foggy. The ketones burn easily, and it would it will give them a lower blood sugar and insulin response for a period of time. And a lot of times, if worked long enough, and then a smart, intelligent diet kept after that, for example, you can actually bring your insulin receptors back, bring the pancreas function back up, things like that. And there's some anti-cancer properties to some diets like that. And I think it's something that you look into, like a lot of people around this time of year right now, like up by us, We got to think people have only been the way we are for just a few years. For hundreds of thousands of years, people, foraged and hunted. We didn't have fields of wheat that got processed and whatnot. How much wheat was really out there? But it will clean a lot of the like sugar residues and things like that out of your system. And it has some anti-cancer effects that a lot of people probably get. It's so rampant right now just because everything's so deep fried and overheated and carcinogen city. Red meat gets a lot of hate when it's not even the meat itself. It's the way that the cattle was treated and the processing of it, and just fucking hot dogs and brats and burgers and all this stuff, and then heating the living shit out of it. Like just like cholesterols. You could drink egg yolks all day long. They have absolutely no effect on you. As a matter of fact, all cell membranes and every cell in your entire body needs these cholesterols in order to become fluid and regenerate. So these low cholesterol, high fiber diets that the FDA pushed forever, and they still do, they would put you on just grains, low fat, low cholesterol, blah, blah, blah. That was directly killing people. And it still is to this day. But the problem is you get around 250 degrees, those cholesterols oxidize. They basically turn right to LDL, and they affect you. That's where, heating really isn't that natural. That was something people started doing because you could actually cook something that had some bacteria in it and eat it. Whereas, people used to just have to wolf shit down as fast as you killed it, or dry it, make some jerky or something, things like that. But, and then the calorie counting. Calorie counting is fucking ridiculous. I get really tired of the caloric deficit, caloric this, calorie. It's a generic term for a unit of energy, but diets are so much more complex than that. We have, the proteins. People then talk about macros, which is just a step in the right direction. You need to pay more attention to that than calories, because they come from anywhere. I tell people constantly, if I ate a diet rich in like fish, eggs, some vegetables, things like that, and I got 3,000 calories a day, and this person just eats some processed wheat product and whatever and eats 2,000 calories a day, like the FDA says, our bodies will look completely different. Our health will be completely different. I will be leaner and more muscular. That person will have no muscle and will be completely unhealthy. Everything will start failing. They'll get fat as shit on less and less food. So the calorie counting, let's keep going into that so I don't bounce around too much. Where that is your body, if somebody calorie counts, the thing is, at first it will work because you're just eating less, but your body likes homeostasis, and it will catch on to that within 6 to 8 weeks. You'll start catching on to that, and you're eating the same thing every fucking day. And then it will adjust itself. It will lower your metabolic rate, so it knows it's getting this every day, and it will stay right there. Exerting yourself physically for a while will then help you burn and whatever. But if you're doing some sort of moderate long-term cardio where you're engaging fast twitch fibers, but not enough to cause the body to feel as it needs muscle, it will start producing cortisol and drop the anabolic hormones after about 20 minutes of that. And it will start adjusting itself to preserve fat and let go of this muscle, because to do that, you don't need a lot of muscle. That's why if you look at marathon runners, they look like Ethiopians but still have a little fat on them, right? You look at a sprinter, they're lean, they have huge quad muscles, and you know what? The sprinter's heart's healthier, their lungs are healthier. A mid-range heart rate for long periods of time is not as beneficial as holding a high heart rate for 3 minutes, okay? And that, the spikes, those big spikes, they cause a hormonal response because your body is like, holy shit, I got to adapt. You become anabolic, it lowers cortisol. That's where, if we're going to do cardio, for example, we either want to go for a walk, where you're using slow twitch fibers and just burning fat, and walking is natural to people. Sprinting and walking is natural to people. Running 20 miles at a medium paced run, that's not natural. We just didn't do that. I'm not saying we can't train for it. Some people like that. They're addicted to the cortisol. That's been shown. But I'd rather be addicted to the dopamine. Myself personally. So at that, your body will even adapt to, okay, I'm going to do this every day for this long, and I'm only going to get this much food. So what I'm going to do is slow down more, because I know I'm going to do this for an hour every day. So at first that'll work, but after 4, 6, 8 weeks, and your body knows it's doing that, then where are people stuck? They're like, God, I cleaned up my diet. I've been eating this many calories, and, I lost 15 pounds. And from there, I started doing some cardio. I go to the gym and just jog on the treadmill for 35, 45 minutes every day. All of a sudden, I started dropping another pound a week. I got 10 pounds down, and now I'm totally stagnated. Well, at this point, people will start doing more cardio, and eventually they start dropping food. And it's this negative loop of more cardio, less food. Pretty soon, you look like a marathon runner. And then those people, their metabolic rate is so shit because it knows it's only going to eat this much and it's going to do all this cardio every day. It slows down because when you're doing all that cardio, it has no choice but to be up. Okay? So when they do start, a lot of people, if they stop the cardio and start eating, they will get fatter than they were in the first place. And this yo-yo effect eventually destroys, your thyroid starts going to shit. And a lot of people then end up getting type 2 diabetes type issues depending on where it all goes. And some people just throw in the towel and give up. So our body needs certain things at certain times, and if we go off of our appetite the way we are meant to, let's think logically, when the fuck, other than the last 60 years, did people ever count calories? They didn't. They got hungry and they knew what they needed, because their entire life they ate wild, raw foods. And they didn't even need to know what was in it because they knew what it did for them. So the more we change our palate to whole foods, the more we will start to I really don't want carbs today, but I feel I really need some monounsaturated fats and you will, it's instinctive. So, if you eat a whole roundabout of nutrition, let's say now you're intelligent and you're doing some sprinting or some battle ropes, and if you're going to do that cardio, just do it for 20 minutes. That's it. And sometimes do it for 20 minutes and then go do your weight training. Don't go through the motions in the weight training. When you're doing a work set, give it everything you fucking got. because that's going to make your body have to adapt. But then at the same time, when you're hungry, don't, oh, I've had too many calories today. Eat it goes deeper than this with, like timing of things in the mornings, at night, stuff like that. But you got some protein, some carbs, and some fats from healthy sources every time, like in a certain amount. You get hungry, you eat that, your body then stays anabolic. And then you wait till you're hungry again. And your body will eventually get hungry. And depending on somebody's lifestyle, gender even, things like that. Not all these crazy genders, but just your basic main two, okay? Things of that nature, you're going to change, the ratios there a little bit. And there are certain times you can just eat protein. You shouldn't, other than right after some really intense workout, or if you're fasted, carbohydrates should never be eaten alone, but I still don't believe they should, because after a workout you need proteins too. So like, yeah, your body will suck up till your glycogen stores are full. There is an hour window or something, an hour or two after a workout, that your body will shuttle it into storage, like, the muscles and whatnot. But once that's full, it still stops. But on the other side, your protein synthesis is up from the training, so why aren't you eating protein too? There's just no reason to ever eat, in my mind, to ever eat carbohydrates by themselves. It just really isn't, unless your blood sugars drop. But, and get the carbohydrates from nature, like, and they're full of nutrition, and they digest easily. But the bulk of our calories, or our caloric intake, the bulk of our food should be proteins and beneficial fats, cholesterol, things like that. Depending on the person's lifestyle, the carbs are going to change. A 250-pound bodybuilder that's working out crazy every day is going to require a hell of a lot more carbohydrates than, your female that weighs 120 pounds. It's going to, just come in and do a 30-minute good workout and head out the door. That's going to be a huge difference in needed. But it doesn't change the fact that we're all going to need, our body is made up of fatty acids, proteins, and minerals. It runs on everything else. The carbohydrates are just a sheer energy source. Fats can be also, but they have important properties for building. And then some of the micronutrients we run on, chemically. So, and that is why I go the way I do. Like, there's some people, intermittent fasting, that's a big one. Fasting can be beneficial at times. It's good. It clears the body out, resets it, things like that. Get the sugar residues we talk of, things like that, clear it out. It is healthy. Help the gut flora get healthy, colon, clean their sucker out. But to do it every day and then eat the same amount of food every day in the afternoon, your body knows. At first, you're eating less. People lose weight, intermittent fasting. Okay? They took it and flipped it around. They used to tell people, don't eat after 6 o'clock at night. And then, break the fast in the morning. Breakfast, break fast. And then all of a sudden, a few years ago, they're like, oh, we got this new thing. Now you eat right till you go to bed, but you don't eat until noon. It's the same fucking thing. They just flipped it around. Like, whoo, genius. People are falling for this shit left and right. Phil and I call each other and we're laughing. I'm like, fuck, I fast 5-6 times a day between every meal. It's unbelievable just watching, the people. It's almost like sheep to the slaughter. So, quick story. Guy at the gym, for example, I kind of put him in his place a few weeks back. We've made amends since, but he was all about this intermittent fasting. The guy has no scientific mind, from what I've known. He's not unintelligent, but when you explain something to somebody and they blatantly blow it off, when it's something that's very factual and science-based, they don't, it's because they usually don't absorb it. They don't get what you're saying, so they're, so, people tend to be leery of things they don't understand. That's natural. Otherwise, we go just jumping off shit all the time. But I explained to him. He said, "Oh, I lost 20 pounds. Now I can't get any leaner. I can't." And this guy works out like 3-4 fucking hours a day. I said, your body knows you're going to starve it till noon every day. It knows you're going to put it through all this moderate bullshit, because his workout is just completely moderate every day. And you eat the same amount of food every day. You're stagnated. He goes, "Well, he's like, the body will adapt." I go, "It will adapt by slowing down and not building muscle. That's how it adapts." Cortisol. And then, "Oh, no, he's denying the cortisol." Like, how the fuck do you know? If you pull on something medium range for 2 fucking hours straight, that's cortisol city. So he saw how ridiculously lean I was getting, and I'm eating all this food all the time. And he comes up to me, and finally, after shunning me for a year, when I tried just offering him free help, he's like, "I'd like to look at your diet." And at first I'm like, "Look at my diet? What do you mean?" "Well, I'd like to look at your diet." I go, "You can't look at my diet. It's different every day. It's different hour to hour. My diet's never the same 2 days in a row." And I said, "If you want some help, I'm $300 a month. I tried giving you some free advice, but you told me your body adapts, and this intermittent fasting you found on Google was the shit. You insulted me many, many times." I basically put it there, and I said, "Your body has adapted to, it's going to starve every day till noon. It's only going to eat this much. It's going to do that. So it slows down till noon, and it goes through this thing. It won't build any new muscle because it knows what it's going to get, and you're chasing the dragon, like they say with drugs. You get high at first, and then less and less and less and less. Same thing. Started the intermittent fasting, lost some weight, do some more exercise, lose a little weight. Pretty soon, it's no man's land. He's blaming it on maybe hormones. There we go with the hormones again. I go, "No, it's because your body adapted all right. It adapted by slowing down and producing cortisol." So, and I was a little rough with him, but I thought he was tougher than that. But, since we've made amends and we're fist bumping again and stuff, but he's actually found a level of respect for me, and like I said, I respect him and what he does. He knows a lot about something I don't, for example, and when he tells me something, I respect it, because I don't know more than him, and I said, "You got 6 years into that, I got 23 into this." So, comparison, but that's enough of the side talk. But like I said, you look at these fad diets and whatnot, and you see just following that stuff blindly. It's really simple. Eat whole food. The first thing to do is eat whole foods. Eat just a roundabout nutrition. Eat when you're hungry. Work out hard. Get plenty of sleep. Don't do meth. And take a shower.